I love the fact that the players that will get picked will know that they got players breathing down their necks. I think if I don't really put in a shift there, I'm going to be on the bench next game. That's what you want, and that's how you get a really competitive team.
Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Saturday afternoon, Birmingham City face Leicester City at home, St.Andrews at Knightheab. Now, to start the new year, Blues have found some form and found a bit of momentum. And to contradict that, Leicester have only won once in the league in the new year. So it should be quite an interesting game. And in this one, we're going to discuss the lineups, we're going to discuss what we expect from the game, and also end it, as always, with a score prediction. So, Dad, where should we start with this one?
Well, it's strange coming to a game against Leicester, where traditionally over the last few years, Leicester have been a Premier League team. They've come down, and they were strong last time they were in the Championship. So you expect it's going to be a really, really competitive game. But as you mentioned, Matt, the form seems to of Leicester is really poor. In fact, they've recently sacked their manager, Martin Cuifentes, and at the time of recording, they haven't appointed a permanent manager just yet. So I find this one a strange one because I still think that they've got good players, Leicester, and it's one that is still not going to be easy for us. In fact, let me ask you a question, Matt, and I've researched this. I'm just scrolling down to find it. When was the last time do you think we beat Leicester in a competitive game?
It's got to be 10 years ago.
So 10 years, that'd be 2016?
No, because they'd be in the Premier League when we were in the Championship. Yeah. So let's go 2012.
It's close, really close. 16th of October 2011.
Okay.
That's when we beat them 2-0. But since then, in fact, actually, the last 7 times we've played them, we've lost every time. That's including the FA Cup game, a couple of draws and a loss. So at the last 11 or 12 games, we've lost 10 and drawn 2, going back to 2011. And I think that just shows you there was quite a gap between the clubs over that period. They've won the Premier League, and it shows you how times are changing now. They're currently 16th in the league on 38 points, but once again, they've still got this potential points deductions looming over them as well that could put them, right further down the table.
Did you expect in February to look at the league table and see Leicester in 16th, Southampton in 14th, and Sheffield United in 17th? No. And fair enough, I've put Sheffield United in the same category as the 2 relegated teams, but I was not expecting that this season. I thought Leicester and Southampton would be right up there.
I'd add Norwich into that as well. They're 19th at the
and
moment.
West Brom.
And West Brom, yeah. Norwich are improving, actually. But
in particular, Dad, Leicester 16th and Southampton 14th. Let's just take those 2 ex-Premier League teams from that season. Would you have banged on that in the first week in February? You wouldn't have, would you?
Well, I mean, when we played them, Matt, we played them early in the season, didn't we? It was in August, the end of August, and they beat us comprehensively 2-0. We were poor, weren't we? And I think there's some alarm bells going in terms of our that was the start of the poor away form, wasn't it, really? But we didn't really sort of lay a glove on them in that game, did we?
No, we didn't, no. And we knew exactly what Fatawu and the tactic was going to be. And the first 5-10 minutes in, he goes down the right-hand side, cuts in and scores. It was like you were shaking your head with anger, weren't you, going, this was so predictable.
Yeah, but we were there, weren't we? We were at Leicester. And I remember because we were in that corner where he scored that goal and we were saying, don't let him cut in. And to be fair to him, it was a good goal. But that's what he does. And, since then, in fact, they had a good start. They only lost 1 of their first 10, although they drew 5 of those, but they hadn't lost. And as you mentioned, Matt, in the last 9 games, they've lost 6. They've lost 6 of them, but they have had some decent victories. I mean, with this Leicester City, they beat Ipswich 3-1 at home. They got the double over Derby, who are having a good season, which I think is their sort of them and Nottingham Forest are their local derbies, aren't they as well? But they have been overall disappointing, haven't they?
They have, Dad. And, the last 2 games in particular, they lost at home to Charlton and they lost at home to Oxford.
Oxford, yeah.
And we played Oxford our last game and they were really poor, even at home, weren't they? We were expecting a little bit more from Oxford. So for them to beat Leicester away, I mean, maybe Leicester had a really off game or, the turbulence with their manager changes. Who knows what's going on with them at the moment, Dad? But it's not Leicester is business as usual, is it? It's definitely an odd season for them, Dad. And you know me, I like to scout their fan base and see what they said on social media. So after the Charlton game, which was their last one, top 2 comments, Dad: League 1 incoming, an owner too immature and ignorant to see it happening in front of his eyes. Comment 2: just when things can't get any worse, we get another dreadful performance. Players don't even look interested.
I can't see them getting relegated. I know that fans react. I get that. But even with the points deduction, I don't see them. I mean, they bought in they bought in is it Jamal Lascelles from Newcastle in the transfer window. They bought in somebody else. I can't remember his name as well. They bought in a couple of players, but
not as much as I thought.
No, but they've got Jordan James there as well. Don't forget who
he's doing the business.
He didn't play in the last game. We'll come on to that in a minute when we talk about their general squad. But
he's been one of their better players from when I've seen Leicester on the telly.
He's their top scorer. He's their top scorer and their top assist as well, which I'll come on to in a minute. But in terms of their away form, they're 2/3 down the table. In fact, actually, they've got a very similar away record, embarrassingly for them, to us. They've got 16 points away. We've got 15 points away because obviously we've won our last two.
That is surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, it is surprising.
When you think about how bad we've been on the road, that they're only 1 point more.
Yeah, as well. They are. They're okay scoring goals. They're just above mid-table in goals scored. They score 40 goals. We score 41. It's their defence, Matt. They're third. Believe it. Listen to this. Leicester City are the third worst defence in the whole of the Championship. They've conceded 45 goals in 30 games. There's only West Brom below them and Sheffield Wednesday.
Wow.
I find that's the
staggering.
That's the stat that jumped out at me as a real surprise. So clearly their problem is they're okay going forward, but they're which is presumably why they brought Lascelles in. They need some stability at the back, don't they?
I mean, we can list their attacking players, Dad. I mean, I haven't even got them here, but what comes to mind: Fatawu, Mavididi, even Jordan James now. They've got some good players going forward. And I've got that literally in big bold for my notes here is the defence. That's the big thing which I've logged for Leicester as well, Dad. Because, when you think about Leicester, think about that season, they dominated the Championship.
They were brilliant. In fact,
they were fantastic.
When we played them in that season, we lost 3-2 at home, didn't we? But they were a free-flowing team. They had the likes of Dewsbury Hall, didn't they? And I think he made a massive difference in their midfield. But they were a great team to watch. They were flowing football. They were aggressive. And they were really, really fast on the break. They caught us out a couple of times, didn't they? And obviously, football is cyclical, isn't it? And clearly they've made some decisions. Some players have gone. Jamie Vardy's gone. Regardless of what you think of Jamie Vardy, he was always a threat. And he always tended to score against us, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But look, interestingly, Matt, the team that they played against Charlton, they played the same system as us, 4-2-3-1, with Jordan Ayew as their number 9, Bobby Decordova-Reid as their number 10, and on the right they had Mavididi and Fatawu on the left, Fatawu on their left. That's a good forward line. They had Hamza Chowdhury in midfield. I've always seen Chowdhury. I always thought I've seen him play when he was at Sheffield United. He was playing left back, I think, right back. Lewis Page was in there with him as well, and their back Pereira, who scored against us, their second goal, didn't he, earlier in the season. Luke Thomas, Nelson, and then Ockley as their centre back, and in goal Stolisic. So I think, look at their team forward-wise; they look fantastic in terms of their ability. There's no Jordan James in there, and obviously, I had a look. He weren't even in the squad. So if any Leicester fans are watching this, clearly we're interested in Jordan James as an ex-Birmingham City player. Let us know why he wasn't in the team. Did he have a niggly injury? Is he likely to be back against the Blues? So I don't. There's some good players in there, Matt. The players I've just mentioned, the players you mentioned, they should be better than where they are, shouldn't they?
I think attacking wise, no doubt about it. But clearly, they're leaking goals left, right, centre. I've actually seen Leicester a few times on the telly. The West Brom game comes to mind. That was on a Friday evening, I think it was. Yeah. Again, not an overly great quality game of football by both teams, to be perfectly honest. I think they did win that in the last minute. Actually, they won 2-1. I think it was.
Oh yes, yeah.
Again, but like when you watch it, it just didn't look like the Leicester that I'm used to watching over the past couple of seasons, Dad. The defence are definitely shaky, and they are vulnerable. Like, I've got a few little goals I've seen over the season, Dad. Simple long balls not being dealt with very well, like moments of clumsiness at the back, getting done for pace. Again, Leicester seem to play. The goals I watch, if you look at the Oxford goal that they scored to win it, their line was so high. Yeah. All it took was a decently well thought out ball, and he was through on goal and he scored. It was a good finish, took it around the keeper, but their line was so high, and they do get caught out for pace at the back sometimes. So could that be somewhere where Stansfield maybe gets him around the back? Who knows? Shots from outside the area as well, wingers cutting in, quick transitions. The list for their defensive frailties is massive, but then when you look at their attack, it is quite strong, but it's still not balancing out. They're leaking a lot more at the back than they are scoring going forward. So there is a massive, massive problem with their defence.
Stats I've just read out suggested that as well, didn't they? But interestingly, they must have injuries as well, because obviously they've got that big lump of a centre-half. Is it Vestergaard? He wasn't in that team. I've just named against Charlton. So possibly they've got injuries at the back, haven't they, which is not helping at all. But
I suppose no one's picked him up. I thought he would be gone already, because he's a Premier League an ex-Premier League
Oh,
Championship
well,
player.
somebody I know is a Leicester fan, and they're not overly impressed with him.
Fair
They're
enough.
not overly impressed with him. Looking at their top scorers, Jordan James has got 9 goals. He's their top scorer. Fatawu has 6. Jordan Ayew has 5. Actually, it's not Jordan James as their most assists. It's Abu Fatawu. He's got 7 assists. Luke Thomas, their left back, has 4, and Jordan James has 3 assists. So clearly, I don't think that they will be worried about making goal scoring opportunities because they have got pace on the wings. Fatawu will have to watch. Obviously, that'll be Wagner's job to keep an eye on him. And they've got players that can score goals. It's defensively that they're really poor, aren't they?
In fact, their strongest attribute going forward, according to the research, is moments of individual skill and brilliance. And when you think of Fatawu and you think of Mavididi, Jordan James, you do see those players unlock teams and have moments of brilliance, don't you? We even saw Jordan James at Bluesdad, get it on the edge of the box. He's pretty dangerous. He can score a goal, Jordan James. So we do have to be wary of him. If he plays.
If he plays, I think he's going to be one to watch because he's going to want to. He's going to want to show Blues. Well, you got rid of me. This is what I can do.
I'm not just saying this because I'm a Blues fan and Jordan James is an ex-Blues player. I promise you, I'm not. But every time I have seen Leicester, he looks like the standout player to me. In terms of, he looks like he's making them tick and playing good football, scoring goals, shooting on sight. Like he looks like he's making things happen. And Fatawu, of course, you have to throw him in there.
Well, he's on loan, isn't he? Let's make that clear. He's on loan at Leicester. He's not signed permanently, but he's making a massive difference. I mean, you wonder without him. Without those, goals and assists, where they would actually really be, So I think that he's probably really stood out, like you mentioned, this season for them. Yeah. Should we go into the Blues?
Let's do it, Dad.
Now, obviously, the January transfer window's closed, so we've got quite a few players to choose from now, haven't we?
We have.
So let's do this then. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first then, Dad. So again, I'll go for Beadle in goal. I'm going to go for Soy Samuel at right back because I believe I'm not too sure what's the update on Awata and the niggle he had at Oxford. He went off, didn't he, with a shoulder?
No, it's a hip, I think.
So hip?
Yeah, I think it was a hip injury.
Sorry, my memory. I thought I've got a visual of him hobbling off holding his shoulder.
No, I'm sure Chris Davies said it was a hip injury.
Yeah, it could be. So my bad. Either way, he hobbled off, so I'm going to put a Soy Samuel back in. I'm going to go for Neumann and Clara in the centre halves. I'm going to go for Wagner left back. Should we do the whole team?
Yeah,
I'm going to go for Solis and Paik in the midfield. Yeah. I'm going to go for Osman on the left, Duxch in the 10, Roberts on the right, and feeding into Stansfield up front.
Yeah, okay.
So I have kept a bit of stability. And Blues fans might be going, Matt, we've just signed Vicente and Prisco. Why aren't they in the team? But I think what Chris Davies says is really important. These players are going to adjust over the next couple of weeks. I think when they get in the team and they cement themselves, it will happen quite quickly. There'll be quite a big transition at Blues, I think, in the next few weeks. But for now, slow and steady wins the race, and I think getting them into the game over time will work best for us.
And you got to remember, we're playing West Bromwich Albion a few days later.
Exactly.
So these players, I've picked the same team as you. The only difference is I have gone for a Water. I'm assuming that, but I agree with you. If he's not fit, it will be a Soy Samuel. Bright.
There you go. Yeah,
a Soy Samuel. But I've gone for Paik and Solis in the front. I thought they were really good against Oxford. So I don't think you can change that. Osman was brilliant as well, so he deserves to keep his place. And Duxch is scoring goals, so I've put him in at number 10, Stano at number 9, and Roberts on the right. I do think that he will use the subs wisely because he was really happy, Chris Davies, against Oxford, and he felt that the subs, for the first time in ages, had a real impact on the game. Yeah. I think we'll do the same again.
But what I will say, that is, I think Vicente and Prisca in particular are going to be chomping at the bit to take positions in this
That's
game.
How it should be, Matt.
I know, 100%, but I think over time, as we get into maybe Norwich territory and Millwall territory in a couple of weeks' time, this squad, when we do this, could look a little bit different. Who knows what that looks like?
I love the fact that the players that will get picked will know that they got players breathing down their necks. I think if I don't really put in a shift there, I'm going to be on the bench next game. That's what you want, and that's how you get a really competitive team. Yeah. And we have got real quality. So again, when we look at what will be on our bench now, it's going to be actually quite frightening, really.
But do you remember our bench against, was it Watford?
It was Watford, yeah.
There was another game as well, I think around the Watford time, and we looked at our bench and we went, I barely recognise any of the names on it. We were using
3 or 4 youngsters.
We were using all the youngsters on there. So for now, when you think about, let's say our team is correct, you've got Prisca on the bench, Vicente on the bench. It's just wild, isn't it? Think of the depth that we have now. I think, and also that's a good team. I think, we looked good against Oxford. We've looked good in the new year pretty consistently. And I think, in some regards, why change a winning formula too much just to keep transfers happy? You know, let them earn their place, let them adapt to English football over time. And I think, as I said, in a couple of weeks, this could look a bit different. But for now, I think, you know, why change a winning formula?
Yeah. And don't forget, Matt, as well. You know, you've got Laird, Cochrane, and Robinson all injured that will be added to this squad as well once they're back. So it's only going to get stronger. And
we've just, of course, got that guy on deadline day, left-sided centre-back. What was his name?
Yeah, Jonathan Panzo.
Jonathan Panzo. So again, the competition for spaces is going to be fierce now moving forward. And
well, a lot of people have said that they feel that Clara is much better on the right-hand side with a left-footed centre-half. He was last season with Ben Davis.
But this is why, Dad, how many times have we said in this podcast, we can't say it anymore, a left-footed centre-back gives you the balance, and that's what it gives Clara. It gives him the balance. You know, he hasn't then got to worry about using his wrong foot. He's then dominantly on his stronger side. It makes the world of difference.
Yeah, so that's where Chris Davis thinks along those lines, and he feels that Panzo is ready. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying he'll do this, but in his thoughts, he could maybe chuck him straight in. But I don't think he will for this game, by the way. But let's go for that score prediction, and you go first.
Me first. Yeah. So I'm going to go optimistic, Dad. I'm going to go back to the glass half full days, and I'm going to go for Birmingham City 3, Leicester City 1.
I've got 3-1-2.
Really?
Not 3-1-2. that'd be 3.
The Blues or Leicester?
No, the Blues. Yeah, I've gone Blues 3-1 as well. I think that they are good going forward, so they are. There's a possibility they could score, but they're poor at the back, and we should be good going forward now. So I've gone 3-1 as well.
I think the way these play will play into our hands. Yeah, and I think we'll look a lot closer aligned to those games like the Millwalls and the Norwiches, where we kind of carve open a little bit more than we usually would. But we have shown that we still can be a little bit vulnerable at the back. So, I'm not 100% confident when you look at Fatawu, Jordan James, Mavididi, others keeping a clean sheet, being totally honest.
That's why I've gone for the 1 as well. One final factor, Matt, before we finish that we have to think about as well. They obviously, by the time this goes out, they could have a new manager in place, and then you've got that that new manager, you know, the uncertainty, the unpredictability of what a new manager will do. But you know what? At home, we shouldn't fear anybody. Our home record proves that. You know, we've beaten Coventry. You know, we've got good results against teams that have come. The only loss we've had against Hull City, but then they beat everybody away, don't they? So I've got every confidence that you know, with our new signings and with being at home, that we should win this. I think.
Well, nice to know we're aligned and pick the same score, Dad. Yeah. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Leicester City supporters, you would love to hear from you as well. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you did like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can watch or listen to us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.